What's up?
Ready for book club?
I am obsessed.
This is the worst.
What do you mean?
No, idiot.
Welcome to book club.
Welcome to Book Club.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome back to
Welcome
book
back
club.
to Book Club.
Who's ready for a March wrap up? And I'm going to tell you right now, we didn't read that many books. We read three.
We read three.
But
One thing about me and Carrie, so we're always realistic.
yes.
So
And the thing is,
the day we get on here and we tell you we've read 10 books,
you'll know we're lying.
we're lying.
We're lying to you. We're lying to
We're
you.
lying to you.
I've
That's
never
not something we do.
specifically in 1 month. Like that's we have other things going on. But the three
Yeah.
I will say though, of all three books we read, I loved every single one of them.
I don't remember what three books
We
I
did
read.
The Deal, Song of Achilles, and Deep End.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So we're going to go in that order.
And I also...
One of those is even a 5-star read. I mean, I think you rated Deep End 5 stars. I didn't, but I'll explain that when we get there.
Well, I actually rated all 3 5 stars. So.
I might have rated The Deal 5 stars, actually. Which us rating
Let's
books
see.
5 stars doesn't mean a whole lot.
No.
Because our scale is really skewed.
I didn't rate Song of Achilles 5 stars.
Oh, I did. Okay, we'll talk about it when we get there. Let's start with, we're going to
We'll
hop
talk
right
about
into it. I hope everybody's having a good March. Yay for daylight savings. That happened in March.
It was beautiful, made life so much
amazing.
better.
We got this natural lighting coming in. It's fantastic.
It's amazing.
Depression's out the window.
And seasonal depression. Bye, babe. We don't know who
See
she
ya
is.
in
See you in
October.
October. We're not going to have it for a while though, which is fucking awesome. We hope you have a wonderful April too, because
Yeah.
April is a beautiful month.
Because it's Maddie's birthday month. Maddie was born in the month of April, therefore
Don't talk about it.
April is the best month because that was when Maddie was born. And we're not talking about age. We're talking about birth because Maddie is a witch and she doesn't age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't ask how old I am.
Beautiful.
I won't tell
You're
you.
beautiful and sexy hot old. That's what it is.
Yeah. I'm just getting older and wiser and hotter as each trip around the sun happens.
We're literally just going in circles around the sun. It's not even anything real. It's all fake.
Yeah. It's all fake, actually.
So, speaking of fake,
But you know what's real? Garrett Graham.
Garrett Graham, unfortunately, no, he's not. But he should be. In my mind, he is. We're going to talk about The Deal by Elle Kennedy. It was our first Elle Kennedy book. I had been recommended Elle Kennedy a lot because we read Icebreaker around this time last year. And I will say, everybody told me they were like, the second that you read Elle Kennedy hockey books, every other hockey romance will go out the window. Pucking Around was already out the window. The second I can, I'm probably going to donate that book. I don't even want it in my library.
Stop. Are you kidding?
That book is disgusting and foul. I'll keep it around maybe for
I'm going to keep it in my library because I saw a video of Miss Emily Rath speaking, which is the author of Pucking Around. She's a doctor and badass, and I respect the fuck out of her. I didn't fuck with Pucking Around though. That's just like wasn't my jam. But I do fuck with Emily Rath.
That's fair,
like I like
fair.
her as a person. So I will be keeping the book. But like, yeah, as soon as I got into, I could tell like 50 pages into The Deal,
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. This is way better.
It was
than
so good.
any other
It
hockey
felt
romance.
like I do tend to compare a lot of rom-coms to Ali Hazelwood, the way that she writes the actual relationship specifically, not just like women in STEM or whatever Ali Hazelwood does, but like the way that she writes the banter in between two characters and like makes you fall in love with both characters. That is kind of what I look for in a rom-com, and I definitely felt that way with Hannah and Garrett. It fucked heavy with them. And I'm not going to lie to you. Did I read this book thinking I'm Hannah? Yes. Yes, I did.
Obviously.
In my mind, I am Hannah, and I was getting freaky with Garrett Graham. Not me as Carrie, but like me, I was Hannah. If that makes sense. Like, I'm not.
Dude, you don't have to explain yourself to me. I picture myself as every single main character pretty much that I've ever read about, because I'm fucking crazy, stupid, insane.
I don't think you're stupid at all.
And batshit.
Batshit, yes. Stupid, no. Definitely not.
Crazy, yes.
Dumb, no.
But you don't have to explain yourself to me. And actually, I got on the right side of TikTok the other day because I saw other girls talking about how they also saw themselves as main characters.
It's hard
and I was like, yes.
Sometimes I don't. Like, sometimes I like especially with fantasy, sometimes I don't. I can't, like, reading Throne of Glass, was I Aelin? No. Was I Manon? Yeah. You bet your britches I was Manon.
Never say that to me again.
Same thing in
I'm not betting my britches on anything.
And then in ACOTAR, like, I just couldn't, almost like I couldn't convince myself that I was Feyre, even though I relate the most to Feyre. I couldn't get myself there, but I was in it. I was still in it. It just wasn't me.
See, I've been Nesta. I was Hannah. I was Aelin for a while when Aelin was Selena. But then when I met Elide, I was like, oh no, that's me. So I transitioned after she turned into Aelin, after she, started going by Aelin again. I was like, nah, I'm Elide. I've been a lot of characters in my head.
Yeah, and I think
I was Triss in 7th grade when I was reading Divergent. I was Triss.
Interesting take.
Baby.
Interesting take.
Tobias Eaton could get it to this day.
I think about this thing that Rebecca Yarros said in an interview where she was like, I have been married, like, been with the same man since I was 19, and writing romance and reading romance books is like, you get to do the fun part over and over and over again. Like, you get to fall in love with characters over and over and over again. You get to, like, be these other characters for a little bit. And I think that is part of the Maddie and I very similarly have been with her husband, my boyfriend. Like, I've been with Dylan since I was 18. She's been with Brian since 19. Yeah. And it's like, obviously
I just turned 19.
I love them. I don't want anything to do with other men. But when I'm reading romance, you get to do all the I'm giggling,
the ha ha, kicking my feet in the bedroom.
Yeah. Like, it's fake and relax. And it's fun. And that's how,
like, it's fake.
That's, like, Rebecca Yarros explained that very well, I think, why reading romance is so fun. And you have to be able to, like, have some emotional intelligence to understand it, I think, and to enjoy it. And you know what? Now that I think about it, maybe that's a reason that so many men don't like romance books, is because, like, a lot of men have trouble associating romance without having sex with somebody. And that's why so many men look at romance books and think it's like, ooh, this is just like, can you say porn on the internet? I think you can. Whatever. They say that it's like, oh, this is just an addiction that women have. And it's like, no, it's just because I think a lot of men can't differentiate love and emotions and intimacy.
Right. Like, and also, sex. I'm not
flicking the bean
while I'm reading.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. People
that's fucking freak shit.
People actually think that. They actually think that.
I know.
That's crazy.
Men actually think that.
Yeah.
And it's fucking insane.
Yeah.
Like, What, you think we're over here just like away?
I can hardly hold my book with 2 hands.
No, literally. What am I? No, that's like way too much concentration. Also, if I see something that like, first of all, have I ever read something and been like, oh fuck, I'm horny now? No. But on the off chance that I did, do you know what I have? A fucking husband.
Yeah.
Hello. I'm going to be like, hey, listen, I just thought that was crazy.
I just read this thing. I thought maybe.
What if, do you want to try it out? And because my husband fucks heavy with me, he'd be like, yeah, say less.
Yeah.
Obviously, I want to try that. Like, even if that did happen, which it doesn't, but even if it did, most women who are very into romance books,
hear me out, that has happened to me. Not like the crazy shit that people think of, but like I'm 25. I read my first romance book when I was 22. Like, yeah, there's been some things that I'm like, you know what, maybe I could try that. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think there's like, I'm not sitting there reading the book thinking like, holy shit, oh my gosh, like,
so many ideas.
No, I'm not taking notes, freako. But like, also, even if that was the case, if women were to be like, hey, I got a lot of ideas from this book. God forbid women be strong in their sexuality. God forbid women feel freedom in their sex lives the way that men do.
Yeah.
Like, that's, I don't know. But with reading The Deal specifically, I think every man should be required, actually, to learn how to play hockey. I think that should be a requirement. Like, you know that one time that we said that we should send men to another planet and the good ones can stay? That should be part of the test. Is like, can you or are you capable of learning how to play hockey at an elite level?
Well, we do have the NHL.
Yeah, I know. I think all men should have to do it.
The only thing with hockey is that it is a little bit similar to football in the sense of head injuries, and a lot of white matter in their brain gets all fucked up, and then they've got fucking CTE or whatever it's called, and then they get violent. So like that sucks.
Great. But what if they're like the way that I kind of felt about Garrett Graham in this book was I felt like he was a little bit of a himbo.
Bro, I love himbos.
I kind of love himbos a little bit.
Oh my God.
But in my mind, let's
himbos.
Elaborate. What is a himbo to you?
A himbo to me is, I don't know, Garrett Graham just encapsulated it so perfectly. Yeah. He was a little bit stupid, but not in a way that was violent
or lacked common sense
or lacked common sense. And he wasn't emotionally stupid. He was very in tune with his emotions, which most men are not. Garrett knew what he wanted.
Yep.
From day one.
And hear me out too.
He was very honest about it.
The himbo side of it it was more like he didn't really care what other people thought. He was goofy and like silly, and he was gonna do things where you're like, you're dumb, but not things where you're like, you're stupid.
You're stupid.
You're dumb, not stupid. And also, I think too, is like the thing that when he was like, I don't know, well, you know, like a lot of, if you haven't read The Deal, parts of it deal with like essay and stuff like that. Not with Garrett and Hannah, but Hannah has a history of it. And when Garrett was not sure how to go about that, or like how to approach that situation while making Hannah feel safe, he didn't just like do nothing. He went to a friend who he was like, this friend might kind of know what to do here. I can ask for advice.
But he didn't.
He tried to learn.
And he didn't air Hannah's
Yeah, he didn't air Hannah's
history.
dirty laundry. But he did
which was beautiful.
Yeah, it was beautiful. He did frame it in a way where he could ask some advice from a friend that he looked up to, that he thought would know, and took initiative to learn. Hannah didn't ask him to learn any of that. He did it on his own. And I also think the himbo part of it is just like being so obsessed with her. Like, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, I think your partner should be obsessed with you at least a little
Peak
bit.
masculinity is a man on their knees.
And you know what? This kind of makes me think of... This kind of makes me think of Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco. Like, they released their album. And Benny Blanco is kind of a himbo. He's very smart and very good at what he does. But when it comes to Selena...
Himbo doesn't necessarily mean... Yeah, himbo doesn't necessarily mean
it has like a new
stupid,
term.
Dumb.
Yeah, I think it has a new term. I don't know. Maybe it has a new meaning now compared to like a bimbo. But I love a bimbo. I love a bimbo because I've never met a girl who
bimbo.
I've never met a girl who was like, oh, she's a bimbo who was stupid. I'm like, oh, she knows what she's doing. Like Paris Hilton was very bimbo, but she runs an empire.
She's smart.
Yeah.
She's not. It's a persona more than anything. Yeah. Like, and I love it. I love bimbos. I love himbos.
I think like Benny Blanco, Selena Gomez are a very good example of like a himbo with a girl that he is obsessed with, but in like from what it looks like, obviously they're celebrities, I don't know them, but from what it looks like to be a very healthy way. And they're very
I love them.
I love them too. I didn't really know anything about Benny Blanco. I know that there was apparently some controversy around when they first started dating. I don't really fucking know though, because now
I thought it was...
I just remember...
I thought it was just because he was ugly.
I'm not really sure. But I remember seeing something that was like, oh my God, Selena should not be with this guy. He's a bad guy or something like that. And it was like, the way he talks about her, he doesn't really seem... I mean, not to be fooled by a man, but like...
Have you guys...
really seem like one.
I'm sorry. Have you guys seen Justin Bieber in the last 10 years?
Have you
that
seen,
man
have
has
you seen
hit...
that people are like, oh, Selena Gomez called him embarrassing one time and now he's crashing out on the internet?
Dude, no, he is crashing out. He's like losing his fucking shit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, if you're looking just solely based on looks, you know nothing about their personality. Well, Justin Bieber's kind of ugly now too.
He used to be really
but
hot,
like
though.
Peak Justin Bieber, he was hot. Benny Blanco, I wouldn't just look at Benny Blanco and be like, he's hot.
Yeah, no.
But the way he's treating
the way he
Selena
talks and treats Selena.
And let me tell you this, he's not running off and jumping on a skateboard and letting his wife trip and fall and scrape her knees in the front of paparazzi or slamming a car door in her face. Yeah. So I'd actually, if I was Hailey Bieber personally, I'd buy a gun. That's just me. But
yeah, that is embarrassing. And Selena really called them out.
It's so embarrassing.
That is embarrassing.
Yeah. It's like,
and it's like, obviously I don't claim to know everything about, I don't know these people. They are celebrities. I don't know them. But there are some things that I'm also, like, they're still people, and you put that you did that in front of paparazzi. It's on the internet. You can't fake that. You skateboarded away from your wife.
And she fell.
And you kept
She tripped and fell.
Chasing after.
And she had to, like, she stumbled and got, it's so embarrassing. Hailey Bieber is too fucking hot for this.
Too hot for that. Too hot
I might not, I mean, obviously I don't know her, but, like, from the things that I've seen on social media, she does seem a little like obsessed with Selena Gomez, which like fair, quite frankly, me too, girl.
Yeah.
But like, Hailey, girl, get up, stand up, stand on fucking beat him up, whoop his fucking ass.
Look at yourself.
You're
in the
too hot for
look
this.
This is you. And you know what? I know we've gotten a little off topic from the deal here, but the deal felt like a very pop culture-y book. And also, Hannah was a big One Direction stan, and I fuck heavy with that.
You know who also gives himbo energy? Who I've never seen in a relationship, but I feel like they would be a himbo? Niall Horan.
Yeah, I feel like he would be a himbo. Yeah.
That's my first husband.
I can't think about One Direction for too long. I can't think about One Direction for too long.
I actually we have to stop. I actually can't think about One Direction, or I will start crying.
Yeah. I can't cry.
I love One Direction bad. I love One Direction bad.
I
still have my Niall Horan cardboard cutout at my mom's house.
That's iconic.
I still
actually.
have it. I'm not getting rid of it. I'm not getting rid of it. Anyways, the deal was really good. I rated it 5 stars because it was like.
I cannot wait to read the rest of them because I will be reading the rest.
Dude. Oh yeah. And also, I'm sorry, but like hockey season with a hockey romance is just peak. So much more fun.
And it's also a really good way to kind of transition back into rom-com summertime season, because sometimes in the spring it can feel a little like too intense to like jump straight from whatever gloomy fantasy dark book you're reading into like, oh, now I'm at the beach, because you're not really at the beach yet. It's springtime. It's a little chilly.
It's springtime.
But with hockey, it's
which is
lighthearted, but you can still put on, because it's fucking ice hockey. It's still cold. You can still have on your little sweaters. You can still have on your little hockey jerseys. And you know what? Try it out. Go to a hockey game. Any hockey game.
Playoff season.
Find the closest
playoff
hockey
is peak.
Find the closest hockey
game.
Can
you stop showing your balls?
And
I don't know
sorry,
why he's doing
Marlon,
that.
Maddie's cat. He needs to get neutered really bad. It's really gross.
He is getting neutered. He's going to the vet today.
He keeps swinging his balls around everywhere.
No, actually, guys, if you're just listening and you're not watching, my husband just came in and showed his balls.
God, Brian, get out.
Jesus Christ, Brian, get out of here. Nobody wants to see your balls.
Okay, cool. Let's get a little emo now. Next book.
Song of Achilles.
Song of Achilles. So, it took us sorry if you can hear the construction. I really thought they were done.
You can't.
Okay. Well, you can't.
Well, I can't.
Whatever.
That doesn't mean the video can't.
It took us I don't know, kind of a while to read Song of Achilles.
15 days.
So, here's the thing. We were in a book club, and this was one of the book club books. And then the book club kind of split up. The book club had to break up a little bit. And then we went to a separate book club that was just for fun romance girly book time. But Song of Achilles was the last one that we had read for our original book club. So I was excited to read it, but because I had it on my TBR, but I think because of the environment of said book club, it was hard for me to get super excited about anything, because I was worried that it was just going to get shit on no matter what I thought of it. And so it just kind of made it not very fun. But once I did get into it, and I was also listening to the audiobook, which the audiobook was really good, but it was slow. It was really, the actual talking was very slow.
Even listening to it at 2 times speed, I still could have gone up to probably 4 times speed, because that's how slow
and I can listen on an Audible audiobook. We were listening on YouTube. An Audible audiobook I can normally listen to on if I'm sitting down with the book, reading along with it, I can normally listen at 3 times speed. This was talking so slowly I could have listened on 4. But I ended up rating the book 5 stars, specifically because the very ending. But then, as social media knows what book you're reading, I started getting recommended a lot of Song of Achilles TikToks and Instagram Reels. And basically, if you haven't read Song of Achilles, it's the story of Achilles in Greek mythology with Patroclus, who was his friend. They were lovers. And
they were roommates.
They were roommates, if you know what I mean. But it's all from Patroclus's point of view, except for one little section at the very end. And I saw it's it's basically like their love story, which like it was written so beautifully. Like it felt very like poetic, I think, the way it was written.
Madeline Miller, her writing style. Oh my God.
Did you read
it was
the back?
Stunning.
Did you read the back that like talked about her education?
No.
She went to I don't remember what Ivy League. She went to an Ivy League, and then she studied, like she went to School of Drama at Yale after that. And like part of her whole major was basically like telling mythology stories in a modern way for people to read them now.
Okay, love.
Yeah. So she's very, very good at it, and I cannot wait to read Circe, which is another book that she also wrote.
I'm so excited for Circe.
And I think
while we were reading it, I remember we had a conversation because, like Carrie said, like it's not a long book, but it did take us a while to get through it.
It had a little bit
especially
of a slow
considering
first like 70 to 100 pages, I would say.
Yes. Yeah. As soon as they started kissing, though, I was like, yes, the gay boys.
Yes.
Hell yeah. I got really excited. I'd never read a book about.
Well, I hadn't read a gay romance.
I don't think I've ever read a gay romance. And I was having a great time.
I was also having
I thought it was really cute and really beautiful.
It was written very beautifully.
But I remember us talking and we were like, I feel like I could get a little bit more into it if it was women.
And hear me out. I don't know if that's problematic at all, but like I
don't really give a damn.
I just have a hard time. I think at this phase in my life, I have a hard time reading stories. And in our conversation that we had, I said like reading stories about men or from male point of views written. I think what helped this is that it was written by men, but it was written by a woman. And I think that helped in like the poetic flow of it. And I think too, because being in school, at least in Texas, so many books that we were read or like works that we had to study, whatever, was stories about men written by men. And like that school education, whatever, primary education took up more life than I've been alive as an adult. And I'm just not ready to like, maybe one day I will be chill with reading stuff like that, but I'm just not at a place right now where I freaking want to. Like, I want to read about women. I want to read women writing about women because I think it's
also like a lot of like fucking F. Scott Fitzgerald. His wife wrote that story. His wife wrote The Great Gatsby. He stole that shit and published it under his name.
Really?
Fuck you. I own Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, I saw it on the internet. It could be factually incorrect. I don't know. But I'm choosing to believe it because men are shit. And that sounds like something a man would do.
Yeah.
It was like diary entries or something that his wife had written and he like went and like rewrote it and got it published as The Great Gatsby or another or something book that he wrote. I don't fuck with F. Scott Fitzgerald. Why would you do that to your wife?
I just
and like the historical like women having to write under a pseudonym just to like get books published.
Yeah.
No, I'm not reading, but no, I believe that there are modern classics, and I do really genuinely. I know there are classics that are written by women, but most classics that like especially in Texas where we're from, most of the books that we read were about men, written by men.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's harmful to say that a woman.
Why were we reading Lord of the Flies?
That's the one where they're on the island and all the boys start killing each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No. Let's read I Who Have Never Known Man.
Yes.
Men. I Who Have Never Known Men. Is that what it's called?
Whatever.
Yes.
And I think
that is going to be I mean, I know it was written a while ago, but like that's a classic to me. Song of Achilles will be, and to me, a classic.
And the thing is I do think it was really beautiful. Like I didn't realize there's a sound on TikTok that's like, I would know him in every lifetime, in every la la la. That Song of Achilles. It's a quote from Song of Achilles. And it is very romantic and it's very beautiful. I do think I will check back in after we read Circe, because Circe is about it's a woman in Greek mythology. Same author, same concept. I feel like it would be easier. I don't know. Maybe I'll be biased because I know that I like her writing now. But regardless, it's just easier for me to get into. It's easier for me to relate to, obviously because I'm a woman. And because I'm just more interested in reading about women. I'm more interested in reading about what women have to say about anything more than a man.
Yeah.
And again, like, maybe at one point in my life, that will equal out a little bit. But where I'm at right now as a 25-year-old woman who has been in my adult life, or at least in my 20s, for only 5 years... that is not a lot of time in comparison to how long I spent in primary education just being taught about men all the time. Like, I got some catching up to do, okay?
Yeah. Even when it came to, like, history, women were a very important facet in all of time history. Everything that's ever happened, it would not have happened without women there. But, like, we did not learn about women. When you learn about, like, Native Americans, you're not learning about Sacagawea. You're learning about fucking what's their names.
Well, and it's
the bitches with the maps.
And
fuck those guys.
Even if you're bringing it back to, like, historical figures like that, it's like, okay, yeah, we're learning about war. We're learning about war over and over again. War and money and banks. Okay, maybe we should also be learning about the cultural impact of what was happening in those times, and then people would feel less inclined to repeat history. Let's talk about why the wars got to where they were. Let's talk about what led up to those things. And obviously, I know there's nuance. There was some things in there, obviously, that talked about the cultural significance of a lot of historical events. But in my opinion, not enough. They focused way too much on the fucking type of warfare we were using. Maybe we should talk about, like, why we learned about, at least in Texas education, you learn about World War II over and over and over again. How many times were we taught about where Rosie the Riveter came from and what happened when the women had to go into the workforce very heavily for the first time in American history? And it's because nothing was really written about them. They weren't allowed to publish anything. Like, I
remember talking about Rosie the Riveter one singular time, and it was in AP US history, because I had a female teacher. I didn't have a coach. Obviously, it was an AP class. I didn't have a coach. But, like, sure it was a female teacher. I'm dead.
But, like,
most of our AP teachers were not coaches.
And the college that I went to was required. Like, I went to Texas Women's University, which is an 80% female to male ratio, like 80% women. They didn't let men into that school until the 80s.
Good.
Well, it's because they wouldn't change their curriculum for, like, actual education. You could major in like sewing,
nursing and sewing. Yeah,
homemaking.
Okay, well, maybe men should. Well, I don't know. I have a lot of crazy things to say about men.
It was required to take a women's studies course, and a lot of the things that we studied were like the course I took was American literature by women. And I think that kind of radicalized my brain and was like, no, you need to be reading female stories by women. It's very different. Women. And I do think, again, Song of Achilles, I did rate it 5 stars. It was beautiful. It made me cry at the end. It's a Greek tragedy. The Greeks are really good at writing sad shit. But I am very interested to see how I feel about Circe, because I did see, like, I felt very emotionally connected to it, and I was like, oh my God, this is so tragic. Achilles and Patroclus loved each other so much, and there was a lot of complex emotions in there, and a relationship that Patroclus had made with one of the women that was captured, but it was, like, almost romantic, but
Briseis!
Almost not. But it was just written in a really beautiful way.
Briseis is my girl.
Briseis was amazing. Her. That was the girl's name.
She was the.
But here's the thing. I want a story
about her.
I want a story on Briseis.
I need to know everything about her.
And I saw a thing.
My review was literally Briseis, my Shayla.
My Shayla. Yeah.
Crying.
And that centaur.
She is my Shayla. I love her.
I love him. But I think I saw a thing that was like, referring to
how he talks about Achilles.
How he talks about Achilles. Well, it was also somebody saying that Patroclus is an unreliable narrator.
Yes. Yeah.
And that he was just so in love with Achilles. Everybody else did not see Achilles the way that Patroclus saw Achilles.
Yeah, I saw that too.
And that made me very sad because it's another, I don't remember the name of the book, but there is another book that is from the point of view, I think, of the women who were captured during the Trojan War. I think that's what that book is, the one that people are comparing it to, that was like, we didn't call him this or this, we called him the, I don't know, the savage or killer or something like that. Like, we didn't call him Achilles the Great. We didn't call him Achilles this. Mm-hmm. We called him the Butcher. Like, and I was like, oh, I think it's from the point of view of the women who were captured during the Trojan War, because the war went on for 10 years. They created their own village, their own community in the myth anyways. And so I think it's from their point of view. I could be wrong, but I think that's what it is.
I want to read that.
I want to read that too. But I'm very interested to read about Circe because I don't know if any of y'all been paying attention to Epic the musical. It's a little niche, but it is a musical that was written about Odysseus and his journey on the Odyssey and like all the different islands. And one of the islands he lands on, there is a woman named Circe, and she is the one who turns his men into pigs. And I want to know about her. I want to know about her thing, and her whole thing is she was like, "Oh, I turn you into what you are." She turned them into pigs.
Okay, slay.
Yeah. Apparently it's a very tragic story, but I want to know.
I would also like to know.
And the song that's in there about Circe, if you listen to Epic the Musical, fucking bangs. Yeah, okay. That was Epic that was Song of Achilles.
That was Epic the Musical.
Epic the Musical. There was one thing about Song of Achilles that I was like, I don't really know. It definitely made me want to read a lot more, like, full on. I know like bits and pieces of Greek mythology, but it made me want to read like full on. This is the Greek mythology story of.
Made you want to pick up the fucking Iliad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It made me want to pick up the Iliad. No, for sure. Because hear me out. I know Agamemnon. He is like the reason. He was Helen of Troy's husband. He was the reason they went to war. Agamemnon, blah blah blah. Agamemnon. He needs to drop dead, and I know he does eventually, and I want to read about it.
Agamemnon's a piece of shit.
He was an asshole. By the way. Didn't like him one bit.
I don't fuck with him at all.
No. And
I didn't fuck with him one bit.
The like psychological part that I think of when they refer to the gods in Greek mythology of like, they are not human, they are gods. Like Achilles' mom kept saying that over and over again. Like, you are a god, you're not a human. Even though he was half whatever. And it's like they don't have the same moral compass that humans have. They don't have a right and wrong. They have, I'm angry about this. I'm going to, like, you know, humans are disposable to them. And I think that that's very interesting. Because, like, reading it, I'm like, oh, my God, these gods are so evil. But I'm like, well, they're not evil. They're not good. They're gods.
Yeah.
I think that's very interesting. I don't know. Makes me feel weird.
I'm excited for Circe.
Okay, third book.
And our last book was Deepened by Ali Hazelwood, which, looking back on it, I feel like I'm committing crimes against the reading community for rating The Deal and Deepened 5 stars, but not Song of Achilles. So I don't know it was just like in the vibe, in the moment, the vibes of the moment. Like after I finished, I was crying when I read Song of Achilles. It in my defense, I did say it was 4.75. Looking back, I don't think Deepened. The Deal, you can argue with the wall. The Deal was 5 stars to me, but
The Deal is 5.
Deepened.
Okay, and hear me out. I rate
probably
things. My
4.
like rating scale, because I rated Deepened 4 stars. I think
But also, I feel like
things.
Good books, like poetically written books, I rate on a very different scale than himbo romances. So The Deal and Deepen was like, oh, I had a fun time reading this, 5 stars. The Song of Achilles, I was like, okay, yeah, it didn't make me feel the way I Who Have Never Known Men felt. Like how I felt when I finished that. So I think they're on two different rating scales.
For me, I rate books on what they were intended for. So, like, if this is a hockey romance, in like a rom-com situation, yes, I'm kind of rating it on my rom-com scale, but even more specifically, I'm rating it compared to the more that I read, the more comparisons I'm making, I'm rating it based on compared to other other sports romances I've read, and ones that are more focused on like smut, like a little bit smuttier. They're supposed to be a little more fun. When it comes to specifically Ali Hazelwood, I rate Ali. I have read every single one of her other books except for Not in Love, and up until now, Deep End. So I was rating Deep End comparatively to how I felt about her other books, whereas I rated Love Hypothesis and Love Theoretically 100% 5 stars. I recommend it to so many people who want to start reading rom-coms. Deep End, I didn't feel as connected to the characters, and I think it's just because it was like a sports thing for me versus just like solely just women in STEM. I'm not an athlete, so like it didn't connect to me that much. And
Cares a woman in STEM.
Huh? Would you stop being a jackass every time I say that? Obviously, I don't connect to women in STEM. Me. I am not a woman in STEM, but the way
she is. She's lying to you. She is a woman in STEM.
The way that the characters are developed in her other books, focused on what they're studying, I feel like they what's the word? Coincide better. Whereas like Scarlett in Deep End was a diver. She could have been doing anything. Diving
Scarlett was also
I don't feel like we got it. We got way more backstory on Lucas than we did on Scarlett, in my opinion.
Yeah, Scarlett was a weird character to me.
Yeah, normally in
Scarlett was
other books,
oddball.
you get you do get other points of views, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. Maybe, yeah, I don't know, maybe not. But I feel like in her other books, you really get the character development of the female characters. Scarlett just didn't feel as developed to me, but Lucas unusually did.
Scarlett was a very, like, I don't want to say surface level because she wasn't surface level, but I don't know. I agree with you. I didn't feel as connected to Scarlett as I did with, like, Olive. And I was an athlete. So, like, I don't know. I also, the only qualm, I guess, that I have with Not in Love, with Deep End was we're so kinky. Nobody can even know.
So kinky.
We're so kinky.
They didn't do anything. There is a whole section. This is not even a spoiler. They go through this whole thing where they have a list of all the things that they're cool with doing with each other.
All the kink shit they're into.
First of all, we don't ever get to see the list. I wanted to see the list.
I wanted to know about the list.
They didn't do anything on the list.
The craziest thing they did was anal one time, and it was like
very mediocre.
It was like a weird, I don't know. It was weird to me.
For any of you who have read the Twisted series by Anna Wong, did you, as I was reading that scene where she was like, I can't do this. Like, are you just over here to have sex with me? And then he went and had sex with her. I started to get flashbacks of Twisted Hate. Where I was like, no, Lucas, do not pull a Twisted Hate. Do not pull a Twisted Hate.
I trusted Lucas with my life. I trusted Lucas so much. I
was very afraid.
Josh Chen can eat glass.
That book, like, it traumatized me. I loved the series, but like that scene specifically, like, I felt so gutted. If you've read the Twisted series, go back and watch our episode on Twisted. We did all 4 in one episode. It's a pretty sporadic episode, I think, but that one kind of went fucking batshit crazy. And I started to feel a little afraid that that's what was happening. But yeah, like they were like talking about it like they were in some secret club. And they were like, oh, well, we're just... And then Penelope, Scarlett's best friend, was like, oh, y'all off on some kinky shit. No, well, no, they actually weren't. And it makes me wonder...
They literally weren't.
What was Penelope doing if what Scarlett and Lucas were doing was, like, outlandish
was too kinky
to her? What was she doing? It was
like... I don't even think... I think he might have choked her one time.
Maybe. I think he put his hand over her mouth or something. Like... Did they
hand over the mouth? That's what it was. Yeah, it was hand over the mouth. It wasn't even a full choking thing.
Like, oh, it's because like he had roommates and she was being loud. Like
I don't hot take. I don't like no, sorry.
What?
Hold on.
What?
I don't like in books when it's like, hey, shut the fuck up. My roommates are home. And she's like, the inner monologue is, I just can't be quiet. Girl, yes, you can. Close your mouth. Stop making all those heinous noises. Nobody wants to know that you're getting your shit rocked right now, that you're getting your back blown out. His roommates don't want to know.
Unfortunately, Lucas's roommates might have wanted to know.
Okay, well, yeah, Lucas's roommates maybe. But like, I don't know. I don't like it when it's like, I just couldn't be quiet. Why? You have that little control over your vocal box?
Yeah, it's way easier for me to read stuff like that in a fantasy book because I'm not expecting any of it to be realistic. In a contemporary romance,
and also...
I am...
Right. You're telling me a human dude is dicking this girl down so good that she has lost all control over any bodily functions?
Also, hear me out. Hear me out. If you've read Deep End, you'll know what I'm talking about. Why the fuck was she crying every time?
Every time.
Girl, let's unpack
every
that.
time.
Let's unpack that. What's going on here?
Yeah.
Hey, like, to anybody listening, you shouldn't be crying every time you have sex.
It was bizarre.
It was bizarre.
Like, women do talk about finishing and crying when they've finished because it was like a, very ethereal moment, I guess.
Sure, okay.
But like every time, girl, are you okay?
My pH balance would not allow shit like that. Also, they pulled this out too at one point in the book. Lucas and Scarlett had sex. And she was like, all right, I'm going to go shower. And mind you, they talk about how they're not using a condom. She's on birth control, whatever. He's busting in her. And she's not going pee after. She's not taking a shower after. He was like, no, you can't take a shower.
You can shower if I wanted you to shower, then I would let you know. Okay, so yuck.
Aren't you worried about her pH balance? Aren't you worried? She's getting a UTI as you speak. She's already got a UTI, actually. And you're swimming in chlorine all day long.
Something about...
She's a diver. He's a swimmer. You are in chemicals all day long, and then you have sex, and then you don't shower. Bitch, your vagina is drier than the Sahara Desert.
Also, there's just something doesn't sit right with me about letting semen marinate inside vaginal walls for multiple hours.
Don't people do that when they're trying to get pregnant?
I don't know, and I don't want to know because that's disgusting.
Is that something people... I think it's because remember did you ever watch Friends?
No.
There is a part in Friends where Phoebe is trying to be a surrogate, right? She's like trying to be pregnant for somebody else's kid or something. I don't know. And they put it in her, and she like sits upside down with her like.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, it's like to keep it. I don't. Gross. That's fucking.
But also,
nasty.
if you think about like werewolf romances, for example, Bride, where they talk about nodding. Don't know what that means? Look it up. May or don't. Whatever. Teach their own.
Probably don't.
It keeps it in there. It's to keep it in there.
Well, I don't fuck with breeding kinks at all.
No,
fear.
I don't either.
I don't fuck with it at all.
Hear me out. I don't like pregnancy tropes, but I would rather it be an accidental pregnancy trope than a breeding kink, personally. If I had to pick.
Yeah.
If I had to pick, because then they'd at least be like, fuck.
Well, I don't know. If there's a pregnancy trope and they say fuck and they don't immediately go to Planned Parenthood and get a fucking abortion, I don't fuck with it at all. I'm too pro-choice for bitches to be getting pregnant and being even slightly disappointed and not doing something to fix it.
Yeah.
In my opinion, you don't have to agree with me. That's the fun thing about having an opinion, is that it's to each their motherfucking own. That's mine. I don't fuck with pregnancy. I don't fuck with kids. I don't fuck with semen. I don't fuck with nodding.
Ugh,
I'm like listing every I'm going to get in there's going to be in the comments, they're going to be like, wow, so vanilla. You guys don't know anything.
Well,
what can you do?
What can you do?
Also, I don't think it's yuck. It's just yuck. Nodding is gross. Semen is nasty. And when bitches have breeding kinks, I think it's fucking gross. And I think it's right wing propaganda.
Oh my God, Maddie.
I don't like breeding kinks. I think they're gross.
I would not go as far to say that if you like the concept, like if you're somebody who wants to have a kid and you're like, oh, I want that man to get me pregnant. That's very Sabrina Carpenter of you.
That is fine.
But
personally, I can't relate.
I can't relate either. But I do know there are some girls that was like, I'd have that man's babies.
I want to be pregnant.
I want to be pregnant. If I was going to have somebody's babies, it would be my boyfriend's for show. I just don't want to have babies, period, point blank. But if you are, I don't think that that's Red Wing. I don't think that's Red Bull propaganda. I think that's the fact that you've been you've had that in your brain.
I don't like breeding kinks. I don't like kids.
I don't think it's
they're gross.
propaganda though that some people want them. I think it's
some people are allowed to want them, but I don't know. It doesn't sit right with me. I don't like it.
Shit, we're already at 55 minutes. 50 minutes.
I know we're yapping.
We were yapping this episode.
3 books took up an hour.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
See, and this is why we don't read more, because then you bitches wouldn't sit and watch. The 100 of you that watch this. Thank you. Love you.
Thank you. Love you.
Cute. Love you.
Yeah, no, if we read more, can you imagine if we read 7 books a month? We'd be here for...
Yeah, honestly, whenever we did our October wrap up and we had read 6 books, I think, we were like, this one. I might be wrong, but I think this was a little more fun than that episode.
I don't know. Southern Fried Homicide did hit different.
It did. That was a crazy fucking
That was a crazy book.
Okay.
Well,
do you want
I guess we'll cut it here.
Yeah. We can talk about, we had a couple other things we wanted to talk about. We'll talk about them next episode. Maybe when we're together.
We'll do a little yappy
when we're together. We're going to be together next week.
Yeah.
We're going to be together next week.
And it's going to be so good. We're going to do front flips on the podcast.
Yeah.
We're not doing front flips on the podcast, but
I can't do a front flip.
but we'll think about doing a front flip on the podcast. Yeah.
I'll do a somersault with my wine glass because I'm going to be drunk.
Hell yeah. Fuck yeah.
Anyways.
You'll be drunk and I'll be sitting on the rings of Saturn.
Okay. Thanks for coming to book club, everybody.
Thanks for coming to book club.
We had a great
and watching our wrap up.
We love you. And we'll see you together in 2 weeks. We hit that harmony. Everybody follow us on Instagram, Spotify, TikTok. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Fable. Join our book club on Fable. We've been a little more active on there. Not like crazy active, but a little bit for sure. So you should follow it.
We are trying.
And Goodreads. It will all be linked below. So please go follow us. And also subscribe to our new YouTube channel where we post other regular BookTube content. It will also be linked below. The channel is Carrie and Maddie. Love you. Bye.
Love ya.